Today, we are going to look at the DREADED CRB at the couch with Lilian Gachoki. Being listed in CRB is not a death sentence. And why do I say so? It's because all of us are listed. It all depends with what kind of listing. And the other day, I had a conversation with one of my clients who are fearing that they cannot access financing because of listing. I encouraged this particular client and I said, it is okay for you to consider generating a CLB report. We go through it. And why did I say this? It's because there are 3 levels of listing in CRB. And CRB means Credit Reference Bureau listing. So the 3 levels includes 1, performing, 2, performing with default history, and 3, non-performing. When one is listed underperforming, it means every financier is willing to mark or enhance a credit limit for you as a client. In fact, you're the best risk that every financial institution is looking for. And what does that mean for you? You can actually negotiate better credit terms with financiers. The second level is performing with default history. What does that mean? Circumstances changes. Maybe you're employed, you lost a job, and in the process of securing another job, you're in 2 or 3 months that you could not be able to pay your debt on time. Or you could even be in business, and due to some eventuality, you could not actually pay your debt in time. Like, for example, could be, especially during COVID 2020, the sales were very low for business. And we saw some business owners getting listed out of that. But the second level is still you're showing a lot of effort in ensuring that you're paying your debt. So it's not a character issue. As a client, you're willing to pay. And a financier will not deny you debt because your CLB states performing with default history. And that level is where you find non-performing. The interpretation of non-performing loans is that it's a character issue. It's an integrity issue. And what do I mean by this? Is that you're given a debt or you're given a loan, but in a way, you refuse to pay. And what are the circumstances? Because some are genuine circumstances, maybe a business closed down, you could not make it to pay, you could not raise money to repay, and you find yourself into non-performing. However, there are some which are a bit also intentional. What have I seen in my line of duty? Maybe somebody borrows a mobile loan and does not pay. And things, maybe the financier forgot, and could be the financier actually forwarded your details to CLB. So by the time you come in to access the loan, you pointed to your facility is non-performing. So what does that mean from a trust level, from a financier, from managing risk, is that they cannot advance you as a client the money. Yet you need that money for the business. And we'll come to some of the ways, how do you then navigate that? However, we are all entitled to one CLB report, which is free once a year. And we need to take a keen eye to check the level of listing that you're in. And why do I say so? I dealt with a business owner who, in fact, was thinking all his loans are performing. But when he generated the CLB report, realized that he had enough loans that were not, that emanated from the mobile loans that he was not aware of. How did that happen? He had, as a business owner, he had procured mobile phone lines for the sales staff. And some of them were borrowing without paying. What did that mean? Whose name was listed as the owner of the phone lines? It was actually this business person. So what did that mean? Found himself in non-performing category. And that could not access the debt. So how do you then navigate out of that? Number one, never fear financial institutions. It's good to have a conversation. And what can you get out of it? You could negotiate better payment terms. You could negotiate discounted amounts. And before you realize, you start paying, that move from non-performing to performing with default history, which is not a character issue. The other bit, when you look at non-performing, sometimes as parents, we find ourselves wanting to buy lines for our children. But sometimes we really monitor what the children are doing with these lines. You find they couldn't borrow money, don't pay. Then you as a parent, you are listed. Every time a child gets the age of majority, transfer that line to them. But above all, keep checking your CRB report, because you are entitled to one CRB report in a year. Back to the client I dealt with, who was listening and wondering, how do I navigate? When we generated here's the report, negatively listed, then what are some of the things he was able to explore? Number one, negotiation with the financial. And was able to get very good discounted amounts. He has been able to liberate himself. He can be able to access loans. And when we look at loans, we need to think on how can we leverage debt to take our businesses to the next level. And if one is working, you still require maybe to, in addition to own assets, to develop yourself in terms of your goals in life, and debt can be used as a leverage to the goals. So never fear CLB. Everyone is listed. It all depends with at what category are you listed in. And if you are listed in the non-performing category, that's not a death sentence. You can navigate through, you can negotiate, you can talk to coaches who, like myself, who can help you see how then do we navigate out of this? How do we build a positive credit score? Because that's what we need, be it business, be it personal loans, because we really need to take and to action on our goals, which most often than not requires financing. Thank you very much. Let's continue with this conversation at the couch with Lilian Gachoki.